Fitness. I'm not sure if the audio is working. I don't hear myself. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. There we go. Um, so this is Gaming McFitness. I'm finally at the new apartment. Um, I apologize. I was planning on moving in such a way that I could exercise and stream sooner. Um, so last time I streamed was the 29th or 28th from the old place. Um, and on the 30th, my sister and my mom both have SUVs, so they helped me move some stuff, including the treadmill. Um, and then I got sort of snowstormed over here. I don't want this thing to oscillate, this fan here. I don't know how to make it not oscillate. I think it's on top. So everything here is different and then clunky. So anyway, they helped me move, and I moved all of my streaming stuff. I was super careful that I brought all my shit to be able to stream on the 30th. But I forgot the top half of the treadmill because it was small. So I was bringing the big things in the SUVs, and I forgot to bring the top half of the treadmill. And then I had a podcast to do, and they were supposed to get on the night of the first, not the holiday, but the night after that. 6 to 11 inches over where I used to live. They ended up only getting like 4 inches, but that kept me from driving back and making another trip. So I was stuck here without the ability to stream for about a week. That is not pointing at me, that fan. There we go. So yeah, now I finally got the treadmill here. And I have the game controller handles, which I also forgot the first trip. But I forgot the thing to mount the handles to the treadmill, the towing straps. So I can't use it. So that's why I'm using Zwift instead of playing a video game on the treadmill. Because I forgot yet another thing. I forgot a lot of things. I forgot towels, so I had to after I showered, I had to dry myself off with paper towels one night, and then I went shopping. What else did I forget? I forgot the paper that had my Wi-Fi password on it, so I couldn't use Wi-Fi until I made another trip. Well, I could have reset the router and figured out how to do all that crap to get a new password, but I didn't bother. Yeah, I forgot a bunch of other stuff, but I'm still moving stuff, but I've got the bulk of it here. I don't have a TV stand yet, so my TV in the main room is sitting on the floor. I have a computer desk that's like, I modified it to do a creative project for the Mark Rober Creative Engineering course. And so it's all put together. It's held together by twist ties. Not twist ties, but the plastic things that the plastic ties. And I didn't have any of those, and I tried to put it together with twist ties. And I got it to go together, and I thought it was sturdy, but I went to wheel it into the other room, and it collapsed on me. And it part of it fell on one of my toes, so I have a big black bruised toe from trying to do something stupid. But yeah, so I'm here at the new place with the treadmill. So I drove back to get another load moved Wednesday and Thursday. And so, well, I got back Thursday to the old place, and then I left again. Today's what, Sunday? Yesterday, Saturday. So I stayed for a whole day. And what was I going to say? Oh, the omnidirectional treadmill was supposed to arrive on Friday to the old apartment, to the old place, my sister's house. And I got the shoes for it in the mail. It's supposed to come in 3 packages. I got that Saturday before I left. And then today, one of the 2 remaining packages got there, and my sister signed for it. Well, it said when they delivered it that you have to sign for it. So on Friday, I was like, I made myself available like all day, with one eye on the window or on the door, like no naps, no sleeping in until noon. And it never came, so I waited all day, and then it said delayed at like 9:00 p.m. So FedEx sucks. Like, they don't give you a delivery window at all. They just say it's arriving that day. So if I had a job, that would have been and I was supposed to sign for the package, according to the FedEx delivery instructions. But so if I would have had a job, that would have been a super pain in the ass if I would have had to take a day off of work, a vacation day, waiting for the damn package, and it never got there. But yeah, I don't have a job, so it was just annoying. But then the one they dropped off today, my sister said they didn't make her sign for it, so I wonder if the signing of packages because of COVID, maybe they're not as strict on that. So, speaking of COVID, my sister has COVID. So, on the upside, if they do make someone sign for the 3rd package, she'll probably be home from work tomorrow to sign for it. The downside is I could have caught it from her because I was there until yesterday, and she had said that she felt like shit Friday. So I had sort of kept my distance in the basement. And I don't feel bad, so hopefully I didn't catch it. I do have a couple things on Tuesday, errands, follow up on a doctor appointment, and then a comedy thing. So I really hope I don't catch COVID and have to reschedule the doctor thing and everything. But I was triple vaxxed, and my sister wasn't. She got the J&J in the spring, but she didn't get revaxxed. So she might have it worse because of that, whereas I might not even notice if I catch it. Yeah. And I stopped at my mom's on the way over here on Saturday and visited for like an hour. So I'm hoping I didn't give it to her. My sister said she felt bad, but she didn't get it confirmed until today. She didn't get a COVID test until today. So So I hope I didn't give COVID to my mom on the way over here. She's anti-vax, which sucks. She did catch COVID in the fall of 2019, and so she would use, I've got the antibodies as an excuse to not get the vax when the vax came out in the spring of 2021. But now it's been like a year and 3 months since she caught it, and I keep saying that I think she should get the vax because the immunity probably wanes, or the antibodies or whatever, and she's old, but she's anti-vax. Not in a Trump way, but in like a new agey Oprah way. But yeah, so I've decided that I'm gonna have the treadmill and the PC here in the new apartment. And the exercise bike is gonna stay in the old apartment, or at my sister's house, because I moved. I was taking up the whole basement. Now I'm taking up just the third bedroom in the basement. So there's 2 bedrooms upstairs, the main one and then a spare up there. And then the third bedroom is in the basement. And then there's like a living room area down there, a second living room area. So I moved all my shit into the bedroom area when I moved over here. I've probably talked about this a few times. So I actually have the exercise bike in the bedroom with the bed and all my other stuff, so it's pretty crowded in there. I haven't decided. I'm probably going to leave the omnidirectional treadmill there. And I don't know, maybe I can slide it under the bed when it's not being used. It's actually not a bed, it's a fold-out futon over there. So it's small when it's not being used as a bed. So that means that I can fit all of the other shit in there. But the omnidirectional treadmill, the bottom of it is probably flat, but then there's like the part that attaches to your back that rotates around the base. And so I don't know if I'll be able to just lean that against a wall, or take it off the base, or I don't know how big it's going to be, because the only thing I got so far that I actually took out of the box is the shoes. The box that did arrive containing part of the base, or containing whatever's in it, the rest of it, it's still in the box. My sister didn't take it out of the box. Yeah. But it is arriving finally after about 2 months, because I bought it a couple weeks before Black Friday, early November. I guess that's not too bad. 2 months. Given the craziness about shipping and electronic shortages and stuff. Yeah, but we'll see how that works. I don't really have a plan about dealing with the headphone cord for the VR headset. I kind of want to leave that shit at my sister's house, the nerdiest shit. So here, a treadmill is pretty normal. And then the rowing machine, once I fix that, the video game controller add-on for that, that'll come over here. Yeah, you can't see the room, you just see the empty wall behind me, but it's a 2-bedroom apartment, so one room is dedicated to the exercise streaming stuff. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot is the my good cables, my good long cables. Um, so when I tried to do my podcast I did the other guy's podcast on Monday, and I'd used like long cables with extensions and like, and it didn't work because I wanted to record from this room, because in the main room it's noisy because the fridge is loud, the heat's loud. You can hear the neighbors whenever they arrive because they put all 4 doors for the nearby apartments like right next to each other, which kind of sucks because somebody could be breaking in your apartment and you couldn't tell the difference between whether they're opening your door or somebody else's door because they're all right in that they're just right next to each other, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side of the hall. What was I talking about again? But yeah, I wanted to record in here even though my computer's in the other room, so I was just trying to use long cables and it didn't work. It's kind of boring to talk about, but now I have the longer cables. The reason I didn't bring them the first time is because they were running along the wall in my sister's basement where the cat peed, and it reeked like cat piss, that side of the wall, and I had it covered up by yoga mats and stuff so you could walk over there without kicking up the smell. You'd get used to it. If you didn't walk on it, you couldn't smell it, but if you walked on it, it would stink for a while. The room would stink for a while if I didn't cover it up with the yoga mats. And so the cables are running right along that wall. They were supposedly on top of the yoga mats. So, and I sniffed the cables and they didn't stink like cat piss super bad. Like I didn't notice it, but I wanted to clean them off, but I got lazy. So I had them in a pile of like things to do, was to clean off the cables, to like wipe them down with soapy water or something. Not the ends of the cables, but the length of the cables. That's why I didn't bring them the first time, because I hadn't done that yet. But yesterday when I moved some more shit up here, I just thought, fuck it, I'm bringing the cables even if they track a little cat piss smell. I didn't lose my sense of smell from COVID, so I'm pretty sure they don't smell. Because I just ate a bunch of ice cream earlier and I could definitely taste it. So if I did catch COVID, I didn't lose my taste of smell. Or my sense of smell and taste. My goal was to get down my body weight to lose 5 pounds by the end of the year. That's another thing. I bought a scale to weigh myself here at the new apartment. So I have one. My other one I left at the old apartment at my sister's house. But I didn't bring any screwdrivers to put so I couldn't put the battery in the scale, so I couldn't weigh myself. But I weighed myself yesterday, and I was 225.8. So I'm going to round myself down to 225 and call that a victory. Plus, I didn't weigh myself on the first, so I don't know if I actually lost the weight in time. But I'm calling that victory. I put 225 on the bottom of the screen. So I'm declaring victory. I guess my next goal should be 220 by mid-February. Probably not by February 1st. That seems a little sudden. So I'm streaming tonight. I might stream again tomorrow night. I was going to drive back because I have a doctor's appointment on the other side of the state on Tuesday. Tomorrow's Monday. But I might stay here tomorrow, so I'm not around my sister who has COVID, and I'm not in the house. And just head straight from here to the doctor's. Luckily, the doctor appointment is late afternoon, like 3:40 p.m. As long as I don't feel like I've got COVID, I'll do that. And then, I don't know, I have a comedy show that night on the other side of the state also. So it's like, well, do I want to kill time all afternoon and not go back to my sister's house where she's got COVID? So I don't catch it. Or like maybe go see a movie or go to dinner. So I don't go back there and just drive there and then back here the same day. Or do I want to just risk it? I have to think about it some more. She said she thought that the new Omicron, which she thinks she has, it got noticeable Friday. So if I'm there Tuesday, that's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's like the 5th day. And she doesn't think it's as transmissible towards the end of the 5-day infection period. So I might just risk it. Stay in the basement. And then maybe sleep over after the comedy thing. So I don't have to drive 2 more hours. But that's the whole point of keeping some of my shit there, is so that I can do some stuff over on that side of the state and some stuff over here and just not have to worry about doing the double 2.5 hour drive in the same day. I can just crash at one place or the other. And I wanted to use her garage to build the electronics shit, because you can't do that in an apartment. It'd probably kick me out if I tried to use a soldering iron and the neighbors smelled the smoke and whatnot. So I'm going to do that at my sister's house when the weather's not shitty, when it's not 10 degrees Fahrenheit in the garage. I did fix the Treadmill game controller. One of the cables broke when I was taking the Treadmill apart. I think I mentioned that on a previous stream. So I did solder that, and I did it in the garage, and it was about, I think it was below 10 degrees outside, but it was probably like 20 something in the garage. I don't know, I didn't check. A little warmer probably in the garage. But I was a little worried that the soldering iron and stuff wouldn't even work if it was that cold, but it did. I mean, it sucks. I wouldn't want to spend hours in the garage when it's that cold doing electronic soldering and woodworking and stuff. But 10 minutes to fix a broken cable was fine. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it's probably a bad idea to put a coat on too, because the spark comes when you're woodworking or cutting something and it catches your coat on fire. That would kind of suck. So yeah, my plan is that as far as building the new fitness video game controllers, I'm going to wait until closer to spring when it's not so damn cold, probably. But I will be testing out that omnidirectional treadmill just out of the box without any custom built stuff. and I'll stream about that. Maybe I'll have to custom build like a thing to hold the headset cord or something. But that might be just duct tape rather than trying to machine something more permanent. When I lived in my house not 5 years ago, like 3 years ago, I had a boxing mount in my that I put in the ceiling in one of the rooms, and that I bought a boxing what do they call them, bag, like the tall heavy boxing bag. I never used it, but I also used it to hold up the VR cord like up high, so you could walk in a circle without tripping over the cord. But in my sister's house or in this apartment, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so I'm streaming on high resolution because I figure my internet's probably better here, and I just want to see if it works. I'm also going a little slow, like my heart rate is really low. Just in case I have COVID, I don't want to overdo it. Oh, I bought another heart rate thing. This is a Wahoo brand. It's about half price of the other brands, and it works great. Because the stupid Garmin one that I tried on the 29th, I couldn't get it to work. So the one that I was using is called Via something. So that's the one I'll use at the other place. And here I'll use the Wahoo one, and then the Garmin one is just junk. The Garmin one is a pain in the ass because to change the battery you've got to take off these 4 small screws, like super tiny screws. Whereas the other two, the ones that work better, it's like a quarter size thing. You can just open it and real quickly. So it's super easy to open it to switch the battery. Whereas the Garmin heart rate monitor sucks. Doesn't work, and it also, you got to deal with the tiny little screws. Yeah. And so moving to the new apartment here too, I also bought another camera. So I can have one camera at the old place and one at the new place. So I was like, the one that I'm using now is the Hero 4 that I've had forever. I didn't buy it recently to do streaming, but it works great. I didn't want to have to buy another, like, they have like streaming cameras for like $300 or something. It's like I didn't want to buy that shit. So I wanted to have one camera here and one there. So I bought another used GoPro on eBay that was a little newer, but it didn't have HDMI out. So I wasted my money. So I bought another Hero 4 on eBay, and I got that. So the batteries are compatible between the two GoPros. And yeah. So I fucked up. I bought a camera that I can't use. But it kind of sucks that the GoPros went backwards in functionality. Like the older ones are better than the newer ones. At least for what I'm doing. They're also, the Hero 7, I think it was like $100 used, and the Hero 4 was $150. So I think people know that the Hero 7s are shit. or limited in functionality, so they're cheaper. But these GoPros, they last forever. It's pretty damn impressive. I am a little pissed off that I bought the one that doesn't. I just assumed that it would do what the other one did. I didn't research it. But it is impressive how durable these cameras are and how long they last. And I wish they would have been a little cheaper on eBay. Like, they hold their value pretty well. So yeah, I don't know if I have much else to talk about. So yeah, I'm still getting used to like figuring out what to bring back and forth, because I'm sort of half living in two places. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a plastic box, and I'm going to put a checklist on it, and it's going to have everything that I need to move back and forth, like my pills, my streaming microphone, like things that I didn't want to buy two of. But I did want to buy another camera because like some stuff, like the camera, you've got to mount the angle, and it'd be a pain in the ass if I had to take all of that down every time I drove from one place to the other. Whereas just unplugging the microphone and shoving it in a box is pretty easy. So yeah, most of the stuff I'd have to bring back and forth is electronics. The HDMI switcher thing, the microphone, but then also my pills. I haven't decided about if I'm going to bring like my checkbook back and forth, or if I'm just going to carry a couple extra checks in my wallet in case I have to write a check. Yeah, I didn't really think about all of that when I decided to get an apartment and also keep some of my shit at my sister's house. Like, I just realized today I didn't have a fingernail clippers here. So I just got to buy another fingernail clipper thing. It's I think I'm almost through it, but it's sort of a pain in the ass to not only have to move, but to like, I suppose it's like if you got a divorce or something, where you move out, but it's like half of the shit is not there that you need. Whereas like when I was in college and shortly after college I moved around a lot, but I had all of this stuff. Like, I didn't have to worry about several times a week just not having shit that I thought I would have and not being able to do what I want. This fan. There it goes. So I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, so it's like the layout is 1 bedroom, living room, dining room, kitchen area. So there's 1 bedroom that's sort of in the middle. So I picked that to be the exercise room here, because I'm as far as I can get from the neighbors. So I'll annoy them less, hopefully. Yeah, a few annoyances of moving in. I just realized the vent in the bathroom was super loud, like metal shaking. But I just figured out today, after about a week, that I could just tighten the screw and the ceiling, and so now it doesn't do that anymore. But the fridge is still loud. I don't know if I want to. I don't see anything obvious to fix that other than to take the damn thing apart, and I don't think that's a good idea. So I guess I'm going to have to live with that. Yeah, I'm also I had the thought that maybe I want to take my Xbox back and forth. I was going to leave it over at my sister's, but that might be one of the things in my box that I take with me wherever I go. Because they released Assassin's Creed Odyssey update, which was unexpected, and it's not the newest game, like Valhalla is a newer one. So it was a surprise that came out of nowhere. And I really want to play that, and I don't have it with me, the Xbox. That kind of sucks. And plus, if I move the rowing machine here, the game controller for the rowing machine is going to be for the Xbox. So by then, I would want the Xbox here. Although, yeah, I don't really need it now. It just would be nice to have. Although I suppose they have the Xbox Live for the PC. Maybe I could play it on the PC. Maybe I'll try that later tonight. I wonder if it'll have like the save game like from the cloud, like where I was in the game, so I don't have to start over. That would be nice. I do need to buy another monitor. So I bought the TV for here in the main room. I bought on a Black Friday sale. And then the one in here, I bought. It was the cheapest QLED they had. It was $500 after Christmas, because I realized I was here and the cable was going to come. Cable installer was going to come, and I didn't have the TV here, and I didn't have a monitor here, so I had no way of knowing. I had no way of like handling the cable installation. So I went out to Best Buy and I bought a TV. Well, it's like a maybe 40-inch max QLED, 40-inch, 42-inch is the smallest one they had. So it's a little bigger than a monitor, but it's not like a nice big TV. It's like for nowadays, it's pretty damn small. But so I can look at that when I'm on the fitness thing. But I would like to have another one next to it, so I can play the game on the main TV, and then I can watch the streaming stuff on the other one. So I think I'm going to buy like a somewhat expensive gaming monitor for the second one. I might leave that at my sister's if I'm going to leave the Xbox there and bring an older one up here. Yeah, because my older monitor, who knows how long I've had that. It does have HDMI, but it's pretty damn old, I think. So yeah, this is sitting on top. This TV now in here is sitting on top of what I was using as a kitchen table in my last apartment. before I moved into my sister's basement before COVID. Because I was in a super tiny duplex in downtown Royal Oak, and it didn't really have a dining room. So it's like a 3 foot by 3 foot little fold up table, but it's wood. It's not like a, what do they call them, like a card table, like you'd see in like a garage sale or something, or a school. It is a wooden table, but it's super small. Because like I said, I was trying to put together the desk, and I didn't have cable ties, and it fell apart and crushed my toe. So this is the only thing that I had to put this TV on. The main TV in the other room is just still sitting on the ground because I haven't moved the TV stand. I do have a TV stand, but I just haven't been able to move up here yet. So everything else that I need to move up here yet will come gradually in my car. Like nothing big. The TV stand is the only remotely big thing that I'll probably have to take it apart a little to fit in the car. Everything else is like small, other than the rowing machine, which I'm not gonna move that for a while. So where I'm at now in Plymouth, Michigan, they have a running group that gets together every Tuesday and Thursday. And I know a guy who does it. He's a local comic who I know. He's done my podcast a few times, a good guy. But he's super fit. So if I went running, like as soon as, we could chat a little bit before the run started, but as soon as the run started, he'd be gone. So I have another friend who lives nearby, one of my poker buddies. I'm going to see if he wants to go running with me one of these days in the running group, because he's about as unfit as I am. Like, we're both somewhat overweight, and we don't run 8 miles a day, or 8 miles 3 times a week. Like, I do this, so I'm not totally couch bound, and neither is my friend, because he does broom ball. So we're both like moderately active, like low to moderately active. So he might be a good running partner. I might do that. I might, maybe not in the dead of winter when it's 20 degrees out, but in the next good weather week, I might see if he wants to do it. Or I might just go out there on my own and not know anybody, except for the one guy who might not be there. Or I could text him to see when he's running and whatnot, I suppose. Yeah, he did my podcast on Tuesday, but his connection was so bad he had to drop off. Yeah, so that kind of sucked. Which he'd had connection problems in the past. So maybe I'll have to wait to invite him on and until he gets his computer fixed. He says it's his computer and it's not the connection, which makes sense because, I mean, dial-up doesn't really exist unless he's tethering to his phone. I don't know why the connection would be so bad. I think it's probably his computer that's the problem. Now, I used to do the podcast on Skype. Now I do it here on Restream, the same thing that I do this. But Skype sort of sucked for video because you couldn't control where all of the people talking, where they would appear on the screen, and it would just jump around all over the place. And sometimes it would just never show somebody, like in the whole hour, even though they were talking. So the Skype was sort of garbage for video. But it was great for one aspect, is that if somebody's connection was really bad, I could say, oh, I can call you. And so Skype can use that, instead of using internet, it can use your phone line. So on my end, I can make a phone call to someone else in the middle of the meeting, in the middle of the podcast, and they can join back in audio only over the phone line. And so that was great for when people had connection problems. But since I moved to Restream, well, I suppose I could use my cell phone and call them. And maybe I could do that, actually, now that I think about it. So I could dial into I could connect to Restream as one user from my PC, and then as a second user from my phone. And then maybe at the same time that I'm restreaming, I could call somebody. I don't know if the phone will let me do those two things at once. Or I could just hold up the phone to the camera or to the mic. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That probably would work just fine, actually. At least because I divide my podcast up. Each person shares their creative idea, and that's the format of the podcast. So if somebody's connection dies in the middle of talking about their idea, I could have them call. I could hold up the phone to a microphone so they can finish describing their idea. And then for the rest of the podcast, maybe they could drop off, because that would be kind of annoying for the whole hour. But for 5 or 10 minutes, just to finish the segment, that might be doable. What the other guy did on the podcast that I called into is he used Zoom, and Zoom has this 40-minute break for the free version. Well, has a 40-minute max recording time for the free version. So what he did is he would simulcast it on Twitch, but he would do one Zoom meeting for the first half of the podcast, and then he would do like a commercial break on Twitch, and then he would start a new Zoom meeting for the second half of the podcast. So the total podcast was about an hour and a half, but it was 2 Zoom meetings, one right after the other one, which might be, I guess it wouldn't be illegal. It's certainly kind of a shady way to bypass paying $10 a month for Zoom. Not that I wouldn't do it if I hadn't thought of it. But so I have Restream, and that's normally $20 a month, but I signed up for it on Black Friday, so it's $10 a month. And that's what this is on right now. It streams to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time. And it's not bad for $10 a month. And then my podcast, I moved it to Planet Ant, which is a Detroit area sketch and theater conglomerate's maybe not the right word, group, and they have donors, and so they pay all of the hosting fees and stuff. So I no longer have to pay anything for the podcast, for hosting it and stuff, so that's nice. I was paying $130 a year on SoundCloud. Plus, I used to record at Podcast Detroit Studio, which was $25 an hour. And I would record it twice a month, so it was $50 a month. But then they upped it to like $30 an hour. And I think they wanted me to, they didn't want me to do it bi-weekly. They wanted me to take a weekly spot, like, because it's hard for them to rent out because I would do Mondays at 8, but I would do every other Monday at 8. And so then they wouldn't be able to rent out the off weeks, Monday at 8, to somebody else, because most people record weekly. So I think they wanted me to pay $120 a month. I think they were going to make me do that, but I dropped that, and I started recording at home. And that was a little bit before COVID hit that I left Podcast Detroit. But Planet Ant also, they're building a podcast studio eventually, and that'll be free also. So I'm hoping to record soon, record the podcast there live with people in the same room, instead of at the apartment here or at my sister's basement. So that'll be nice. I can record it free in a studio, and also they host it for free. So I'm saving a lot of money going through them. So all I'm really paying for anything is the $10 a month Restream, and then I have a Squarespace website. It's like $100 a year or something. And right now I use the same website for my podcast as this video game exercise thing, this Gaming McFitness thing. But if it starts to take off, I might have to buy my own to create a second website. I do have GamingMcFitness.com, which to own the .com, I think it's like $5 a year through Google domains. But then it redirects to my podcast website to a subpage for Gaming McFitness. So that's how I save a little money right now doing it that way. If I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't do Squarespace. I would probably do WordPress or something. Because Squarespace is kind of limited in what you can do. And like when I added the Gaming McFitness, I wanted on the top of the screen, I wanted it to not show the Creativity Wasted slogan. I wanted it to show the Gaming McFitness thing on the top of the screen. But I had to spend a couple hours Googling around and do some like JavaScript tricks to get it to work. And I wasn't even sure I could get it to work at all because they're so limited in what you can do. Whereas WordPress is like this, I don't want to say open source, but it's highly moddable and extendable, and there's plugins, and you can tweak it. And as like a nerd, like websites, I wasn't a web programmer, I was a embedded device programmer, so it's not my area of expertise, but I can stumble through it, and I don't need much for a website for my podcast. It's not that complicated for me. But yeah, what was I saying? It probably at this point I'm so far in with Squarespace that I'm going to stick with it. But if I had to do it over, I probably wouldn't have picked Squarespace. I'm just rambling, boring shit because I have nothing else to talk about. I did have a comedy thing scheduled last week that got canceled because of COVID, and that kind of sucked. It was it's called 50 First Jokes. So it's like it's in a theater, which I never get to perform in the theater because I suck. But it's 50 comics each doing their first jokes of the year. And by first joke, they mean up to a minute and a half. So if you do one-liners, you can get it like 4 or 5 of them in the minute and a half. So it's not literally the first joke. It's the first little bit of comedy. You're supposed to do never performed, whatever you perform, whether it's jokes or bits or a bit. So I usually do 4 or 5 one-liners or small little jokes for 50 First Jokes. And I've tended to do pretty well. I didn't think of that many. This year, I didn't write as great of jokes, but I would have still liked to have gone and done it, but they canceled it. One year I did a I didn't do small jokes. I did a bit about nervous tics and superstitions of baseball players, and how it's got to be nerve-wracking to stand in front of 500,000 people or 100,000 people in a stadium and not be doing anything, like just standing in the outfield. And then I related that back to 50 First Jokes, because what they do is they take 25 comics and they put half of the comics and they put them on stage all at the same time, and you're sitting on stage in chairs. And so it's kind of, you're not used to being on stage and not doing anything like you're normally doing your set, you know. So it's a different type of nervousness and nervous tics about sitting there in front of the people and not doing anything. And that was what the set was about. I don't remember the punchlines, but that one, I broke from my normal jokey style, and I did that one year. I don't think it killed, but I think it did okay. But that type of joke, it's sort of specific to that venue or that sort of bit. Like I could evolve the baseball players and the nervous tics into a bit that I could do anywhere, but then I wouldn't be able to relate it to the fact that I'm just like the baseball player. I'm sitting on stage in front of people, not doing anything, and how nerve-wracking that is. So half of the bit would have to go away because it wouldn't be relevant to a normal show. The good thing about me doing bits about, or comedy about being nervous, is that it rings true, because I am super nervous and timid on stage. So doing jokes about it, I don't have to try hard to look authentic. I just am. But yeah, they canceled that show this year, so that kind of sucked. So I'm almost an hour in. What's my calorie count? 150. I'm going to go to at least 200 calories, so I'm going to keep going. It looks like there's one person online on Facebook. Hello, person. Not anymore. I called them out, so they dropped off. Yeah. I'm thinking that once I lose like 40 pounds, then and then I have the rowing machine game controller, and I'll like try harder to promote this, and so there's more than one person watching at a time. But this does help. Like, even if there's no, I know my cousins, if they don't watch the show, they are looking to see if I'm doing it. So they are judging. They know if I'm exercising or not. At least a few people. So there is the peer pressure aspect to motivate me to work out. So that's good. Maybe I should put my weight loss goals on the bottom of the screen and maybe start it over. Start point January 1st, 225. Goal by, yeah, maybe I'll do that. That way, if you're just stumbling in and you don't know who I am, you can see, okay, the guy's exercising, he's playing a video game while exercising, that's kind of interesting. This is his weight loss goals, this is whether or not he's achieving them, and you can just see all of that. Like, you don't have to happen to log on at the point in the beginning when I'm going over all that stuff. You just see it there. That kind of makes sense. I hope I'm not annoying my neighbors too much. I can hear them when their TV's on. I can hear that it's on. So it's not great soundproofing in these apartments. So I'm going to try not to do this after 10. I'm hoping they can't understand the words that I'm saying. That's a little... I mean, that feels like you'd want more privacy than that in an apartment. Like, maybe they can hear that I'm talking, but they don't know what I'm saying, or if I'm on the phone, or if somebody else is in the room, or I'm hoping that there's a little privacy in these apartments. There's not some guy trying to watch TV just understanding every boring ass word I'm saying. That would suck. Yeah, 160 calories. I'm gonna speed up a little bit for the end here. I did buy some more clothes and stuff because I'll be living half of the time in 2 different places, and it's if I don't want to have to like be super careful about having the exact amount of clothes to like use all of my clothes and then do laundry when I have 0 shirts left. Like, I want to have a little buffer zone at both places of clothes, so I'm not always worried about whether or not I have to do laundry. So I bought some more shorts. I bought some t-shirts, stuff. I bought another so I bought like an Amazon stick, Fire TV stick. I have a Roku at my sister's house because I don't want to use the built-in ones from the TV, because I don't want them being able to spy on my audio with Alexa. So I don't hook up the TVs, the smart TVs, to the internet. The Fire Stick has the speaker in the remote control, which runs on a little watch battery. So you know it can't be listening all the time, because if it was, the battery would die really quickly. So I'm pretty confident that that's not spying on me all the time. Even though it does have Alexa built into the remote. I suppose they could be sort of randomly spying on you, but I don't know why they would bother to do that. But the smart TVs that could be they're plugged in and they could be listening all the time. I don't like that. They could even have cameras. They could be watching you. Sending the data to China or to Samsung in South Korea or wherever. I don't like that. I'll see if I can get my heart rate up to like 150 and then hit 200 calories. And then I'll call it a day. But yeah, this Zwift is a little boring, especially for running. So hopefully soon I'll have the video game set up. But I'm not sure the next time I'm going to be at my sister's house, because she's got COVID, to pick up the missing shit to be able to play the video games while exercising. So it might be Zwift. I might be stuck with Zwift for another week or so, because it's the only one I can do without the game controller. I suppose if I ran faster, like, I'm afraid to run on the treadmill. Like, I'm gonna fuck up and I'm gonna fall. Like, this is as fast as I'm willing to go on a treadmill. Like, I've got my hands on the handles, like, solidly. I'm not, like, pumping my arms because I'm running super fast. But if I was going faster, this Zwift would be less boring, because then you'd see the scenery go by faster. I think I turned the volume down too low on the Zwift, because by default it's super loud. You can't hear me talking. I think I turned it down so low you can't even tell that it's there at all. All you hear is me talking. I guess my heart rate's not going to go up. Going that fast. Although there's like a 30-second lag on the streaming. Yeah, and I'm not comfortable going that fast. I feel like I'm gonna fall, or I'm gonna bend my knee wrong. Maybe this, 142, it is showing a heart rate going up finally. So maybe this heart rate sensor isn't good. But I think it's just a lag from the screen, from the streaming. So probably at about 150 beats per minute right now. getting a little too tired to talk. Not that I have anything interesting to say anyway, so I'll just finish the last couple minutes in silence. Pretty sure if I had COVID, my heart rate would be higher. Like I'm not even getting it up to 150. There, 146. I keep saying I have one person watching on Zwift or on Twitch. I don't know if one person is actually there or if it's counting the restream as a viewer. But whatever. If you're watching me on Twitch, thanks for watching. I'm almost done. This is 198 calories. I'm close enough to 150 beats per minute. I'm almost to 3 miles. Maybe I'll go another minute to hit 3 miles. I could hold my breath so I hit 150 beats per minute if I want to be stupid. And hit a goal that means nothing. There it goes, 150. So I hit the little goal, 2.99 miles. Okay, 3 miles, I'll call it a day. That was Gaming McFitness. Keep gaming and keep exercising. If you're smart, try doing both at the same time. I need to reach over here to turn it off. Whatever. Good night.